Today on Commander Replay, is it true that mono white doesn't do +1/+1 counters? Let's let Anafenza answer for us, next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have 3 new Patreon supporters in Christian Johnson, P. Sherwin15, and Martin Powell. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Today we are playing the mono white doesn't have +1/+1 counters Anafenza deck. And this deck was gifted to me by my Patreons after the video I put out over the weekend where I talked about Sword of Truth and Justice, and I made a comment where I said white doesn't really do +1/+1 counters very well. So my lovely Patreons built me this Anafenza deck that is, as you guessed it, that is a +1/+1 counter mono white deck. And that's what we'll be playing today. I haven't looked through it extensively. I did take a quick peek at it. They did a really good job with the mana curve. The mana curve was super balanced in the deck, so I can appreciate that. We did win the die roll. We kept a hand that looks like this. It's got some lands. Got a Book of Wrath. I like it even better now with the Sun Titan in our hand. So with that, we will start the game off and play planes, pass the turn. Here comes a Birds of Paradise for the Karametra. And so that'll bring it back to our turn. We draw a Burnished Heart. Sweet. So play a planes, get our Anafenza into play, and we'll pass the turn like that. So I'm joined by 3 Patreon supporters today. First up, Vermilion Nintendo, piloting Karametra, God of Harvests. Looks like they might be off to a reasonably quick start with a Birds of Paradise on turn 1. I'm going to follow that up with a Luminarch Ascension. Ooh, that's going to be scary. We'll have to do some attacking, make sure they don't get 4 counters on that thing. Next up, we have Xenosai piloting Rowan Kenrith and Will Kenrith. Interestingly, a pair that I have not played, but I know they can do some stuff. There are some pretty good abilities on them. Maybe you have to check those out at some point. Oh man, I got so many decks to play. I don't know when I'm going to find time for that. Anyway, they can do some cool stuff with spells, and there's also Will Kenrith's ability to turn creatures into O3s and lose abilities is really powerful. You can really slow some nasty stuff down with that, so we'll see what they're up to this game. And then finally, we have XCVER playing Queen Marchesa, and yeah, Queen Marchesa interesting in that there's a lot of different ways you can go with it. Some people do play it as a token deck, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a token deck. Some people just do control, just try to draw a lot of cards and do stuff like that. But yeah, there are some different ways to go with Queen Marchesa, so we'll see what they got going on as the game progresses. And with that, that'll bring it back to our turn. We draw a Gleam of Authority, so I'm going to have to read a lot of the cards in this deck, by the way, because I did not build it, so I don't really know a lot of what's in it. When I had to buy the cards for it, there were about 20 cards that I didn't own, which means those are probably 20 cards that I'm not very familiar with, so we're going to have to be reading everything. So it's an aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on other creatures you control. Enchanted creature has Vigilance, and tap it, bolster 1. Very interesting. I think we laid down... I think we play the Burnished Heart. Burnished Heart seems really good. Not a lot of threats on board right now, so just a good time to get our mana ramp going. So Burnished Heart will come in. It'll bolster 1. And I'm going to bolster the Anafenza since it's tied, because planning to have the Anafenza stick around a bit longer than the Burnished Heart is sticking around. We are going to attack into the Karametra because of the Luminarch Ascension. Try to keep that at bay. So they go down to 37, 3 commander, and we'll pass the turn like that. Mana Crypt for the Karametra. Karametra for the Karametra. So their commander coming into play. I want to build, so you guys have seen me play the Elephant Tribal version of Karametra a little bit. I want to build just like a good stuff Karametra deck. I think Karametra can be really powerful. You get some of the bounce creatures, like who's the 1 mana green elephant with the energy counters. That thing's really good. Even just like a white mane lion. It's going to be like a rampant growth every turn. Seems pretty busted. Yeah, Karametra. Really good ability, able to find a lot of lands. A Saheeli Sublime Artificer coming into play for the partner opponent. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. Ooh, it's not great for us. And target artifact you control becomes a copy of another target artifact or creature you control until end of turn, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Very interesting. I'm sure there's some stuff you can do with that. I haven't really played a lot of the blue-red Brutaclad type decks that have come out in the past year or so. So I'm not super up on that. There's a Wear Tear. Oh, it goes for our Burnished Heart. Oh, there's going to be a price for that. It does shoot down the Luminarch Ascension. That is good news, but makes me very sad. I guess we play the Core Haven, and we're going to get the Endless Horizons right here. We go for about 10 planes. I don't want to go for all of them at this point. I still want to draw a couple off the top, naturally. Also, there's some chance that it gets blown up. Queen Marchesa might be doing the removal thing. Maybe we'll go for just a little bit less than 10. So if I counted right, that should be 8 planes. And that would take us through turn 12, so that seems very reasonable. Queen Marchesa's getting attacked for blowing up our stuff. Really wanted that Burnished Art. Though we do have a Sun Titan, so we can get it back at some point, as long as we keep making land drops, which Endless Horizon should help us to do. So opponent goes down to 36, and we'll pass like that. Karametra loses the Mana Crypt flip, down to 34. I forget where I was, but I saw someone the other day posted a comment, Mana Crypt, the greatest damage dealer in all of Commander. Uh-oh, that's an Angel of Finality. Don't target our Burnished Heart. Aha! Going after the Queen Marchesa. Exiles their land and their Wear Tear. Excellent. So we do have this Mass Calcify in hand. This is a card that I've looked at a little bit in the past. It can be a bit unreliable. When opponents have white creatures, it's not the best. Which is why I've largely shied away from using it. Because chances are when you need a board wipe, you just need a board wipe. You can't have your opponent's stuff surviving. Astral Cornucopia coming in for our opponent. And, you know, there are plenty of nasty white creatures that you just need dead when they come into play. So, but if your opponents are not playing white, if you're in a meta where your opponents don't play a lot of white, then Mass Calcify can certainly be very good. But it sort of depends on knowing what color decks you're going to be facing beforehand to really get great use out of it. Overall, I've had not the best results with it. And it's also a little bit expensive at 7. If it was like 5 or 6, it would probably be more reasonable, but 7 is a lot to tap out for your board wipe. I've had many games end before I ever got to 7 mana. That's one thing to think about as well. Queen Marchesa coming in, they're going to get the Monarch token. Queen Marchesa does have Death Touch and Haste. If we play the Anafenza Kin right here, opponent going on the attack into the Saheeli. So we'll attack into the Queen Marchesa this turn and steal the Monarch token away from them. But Queen Marchesa does take down the Saheeli, so that's cool. And Endless Horizon is going to trigger on our upkeep. Use the ability, get a Plains. Goes to our hand. We draw a High Sentinels of Erishan. It's flying, adds +1/+1 for each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it, and we can pay to put +1/+1 counters on a creature. Play the Plains. Swing into the Queen Marchesa and take the Monarch token. So we become the Monarch. Opponent goes down to 33. Go to our second main phase. I think I'm going to play this Anafenza Kin right here, and then we'll leave up the mana to protect ourselves a little bit with Core Haven, so we can protect the Monarch token for a little bit longer than we would have otherwise been able to do so. And because we played a creature, it does Bolster, and it becomes a 3/2, and both of our creatures now have First Strike. Monarch token triggers at the end step, and we draw Plains. Sweet. Mana Crypt trigger for our opponent. They win the flip. Vizier of the Menagerie coming in for the Karametra. That seems really good. Here comes... Ooh, there's a White Mane Lion. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. White Mane Lion with Karametra seems pretty good. It means they can Rampant Growth every turn. Also, they can bounce the Angel of Finality if they want to. Don't know that they will. It's kind of an expensive mana play to do that. There needs to be a reason that you want to be exiling the graveyards for that to happen, but... Yep, just going to bounce the White Mane Lion. So that's actually really scary because they can just do that every turn. Opponent going to swing into us with the Angel of Finality. Yep, we're going to use the Core Haven on it. But yeah, that's scary. They can do that. They can just Rampant Growth every single turn now. Potentially multiple times a turn if they don't have anything going on. And it's just hard to stop a lot of mana. Like, after that, all they need to do is find the draw spell. I mean, they have the Vizier of the Menagerie out, which will get them some amount of card advantage, but one big draw spell, and then they've probably got this game locked up really easily, so that's all really scary. Thrumming Bird coming in for the Rowan Kenrith opponent. The Proliferate Sword would be really cool in this deck. So because the opponent is not the Monarch, they do get to create a 1/1 Assassin token as a 1/1 Death Touch with Haste. Bet they probably send that our way. Gonna send both our way. Ooh. Opponent gonna send both creatures into us. We can block. We've got First Strike. So block the Queen Marchesa. Queen Marchesa goes down. Opponent does get us for 1, and that is just enough to get the Monarch token back under their control. Sad face. But we can always swing back at them to regain control of it. Oh, maybe not. There's a Xul, Tyrant of the Cliffs. So if we attack them, they create a 3/3, they double block. Yeah, that's all stuff. That is stuff. Gonna take a minute to get through all that. They get to draw at the end step. I guess we just let... I don't really want to let Karametra just assume the Monarch token with no real plan. So brings it to our turn. Endless Horizons triggers. We get another Plains into our hand. We draw a Mentor of the Meek. Cool. Another creature with power 2 or less. We don't have any of those currently. Play a Plains. We're on 6 mana. Don't want to go for Sun Titan right here because I think there's going to be some removal happening at some point. and I really don't want to like run all of our stuff into it, so I think we're just going for Book of Wrath this turn. We don't have like super profitable attacks. In fact, I'm just going to stay put because when you have first strike on 2 creatures, that's actually pretty good at blocking a lot of stuff, so I think we're just going to chill this turn. Here comes a Knight of the Reliquary. Yep. There's another white creature that's not going to get hit by this Mass Calcify. Oh, opponent's going to Arcane Denial that. Excellent. That will be card draw for them, though, and card draw, as I mentioned, will be scary since they can make tons and tons of mana. Here comes a Farhaven Elf. That's going to be 2 lands for them. Oof. So, Angel of Finality going to swing into the Queen Marchesa. That will trigger the Kazul. Kazul getting a token out of the deal. So, they get in for 3 damage, and Karametra will take the Monarch token, and they'll draw at their end step. Arcane Denial triggers. Both opponents will get to draw. Deck Faden coming into play. Uh-oh. Prefer if they didn't steal our Book of Wrath. Going to steal opponent's Mana Crypt. I'm fine with that. Karametra could use just a little bit less mana. Also, this all paints a target not on us, which is the most important thing right now. We just need to like chill for a couple turns, find a board wipe when things get out of hand, and try to draw this Book of Wrath as much as we can. Opponent's got a Fell Warstone coming in. Opponent's going to send the Thrumming Bird into us. Yep, no flying blockers. Makes sense. We go down to 38. They'll get to proliferate one time. Sweet, they proliferate our creatures. Nice, so that gives our creatures 4 power with first strike, which is very relevant against this Kazul and what the Karametra has going on currently. So we can probably actually start doing some attacks. Thought Vessel for the Queen Marchesa. Boros Signet. Opponent going to send a couple creatures at the Deck Faden. Interestingly, if we Mass Calcify right here, the Angel of Finality's tapped out, we'd get rid of the green creatures from Karametra, and we could actually get in for some damage. Plus, we'd also get rid of the Kazul, all these tokens, this Thrumming Bird. Yeah, that might be what we're doing. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a little too premature on that. Yeah, I think maybe we wait one more turn. Yeah, we'll try to mass up something, because then we might be able to force an opponent into a board wipe if we just make a big play. So I think I'm going to go for the Sentinels this turn. And then, because the Sentinels should get pretty big. And then potentially we could play Gleam of Authority to make something really huge. Alright, so that's going to bring it back to our turn. Endless Horizons is going to trigger. Endless Horizons would be really good with Walking Atlas, so that's something to think about. I've been starting to use Walking Atlas a bit more for deck second wheel. For deck second, you can have draw lots of cards, multiple lands a turn, that kind of stuff. Walking Atlas is pretty good. Use that ability, grab a Plains. There's a Return to Dust. What do we need to get rid of? We potentially get rid of a Karametra, Astral Cornucopia, although opponent just helped us out. I think we're just going to hang on to that for a minute. Nothing terribly worth shooting. So play a Plains. Play the High Sentinels of Erishin. So those will come in. We'll get to bolster 1. That pumps up our Aniak Bondkin. And I think we'll just sit on the Core Haven, make sure nothing goes terribly wrong. We can draw at the end step with Book of Wrath. All seems legit. Or, maybe we just play Mentor of the Meek. I don't think anyone's going to attack us based on the creatures that we have right now. Yeah, let's play Mentor of the Meek right here. I don't think we're going to get attacked. So Mentor of the Meek will come in and we'll bolster 1 again. And that's going to pump up the Mentor of the Meek. So the High Sentinels of Erishin is now a 6/7 flyer. Not too bad. And for the moment here, we're just going to stay put. Not looking to make any enemies just yet. White Mane Lion. Yep, more White Mane Lion action. Oh, also it's an instant speed Rampant Growth. Can't forget about that. Yeah, those lands are going to be very, very scary. So hopefully the Karametra plays a bunch of green creatures that don't kill us this turn. And then we can untap and play Mass Calcify to get rid of them all. And then try to send some big attacks their way. It's asking a lot, though. It's asking a lot. Well, there's a Vorinclex. So we're going to find out who's got removal in hand. We do, but we're also going to have to give up a turn to use it. Which is not amazing. And opponent can probably get, like, every land in their deck now if they wanted to with the Thinger. Oh, that's a Primal Surge. That's not good. Don't know if this is a value Primal Surge or if this is a flip your entire deck Primal Surge. Now, interestingly, opponent has Guardian Project in their deck. That is forced draw. That is not a May ability. But you can choose to stop. You can choose to stop the loop whenever you want to with Primal Surge, assuming they're just looking for their haste thing. Hopefully, it's like way at the bottom and they mill themselves out with Guardian Project. That would be cool. Champion of Lamholt's gonna be a problem though. So they stop with the Primal Surge. They've got 33 cards left. I don't think they have 33 triggers here for Guardian Project. No. No, they are probably going to survive. Did they get the haste thing? Doesn't look like it. And this is why mana is scary. That was all made in part by Opponent just getting multiple lands every turn with Karametra and the bouncy thing, and then playing a Vorinclex having their mana doubled. Still not seeing any haste. I mean, they have a lot of really good creatures in play. Ugh, hit that betrays. Gross. As long as nothing goes terribly wrong, we can blow everything up on our turn. But then we have to pass our turn. We'll have to pass our following turn, which is pretty awful. Opponent may draw into Conquered at Crossroads, which would be a problem. How many artifacts are we going to get blown up? Just Endless Horizon and Book of Wrath. That's better than usual. Usually I'm crying whenever I see a Bane of Progress go off. I mean, those are both cards I wanted, but it could be worse. Opponent can Karmic Guide the... No. Opponent can Eternal Witness the Primal Surge back if they want to. They're going to get the Reliquary Tower. Oh, that's a Cataclysmic Gearhulk. That actually seems like kind of a non-bow, right? Opponent's going to blow up all their creatures? I guess they'll just have one really big champion of Lambhold. Which creature are we keeping? I am not sure. The Flyer's cool because it gets big. Can also pump our creatures up. Mentor of the Meek is helpful when the board has to get wiped. Alright, our turn for the Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Choose Endless Atlas, choose Book of Wrath. I actually think I'm going to choose the Bondkin right here. The First Strike. It's big and the First Strike is helpful. So all the creatures getting blown up. Uh-oh. That's an If That Betrays. Is going to gain control of all of that stuff. Ew. At least Vorinclex is gone, though. Chance it could come back, depending on how these triggers resolve. At the moment, it's in the graveyard, so that's good. But I think opponent can get back Eternal Witness, and then maybe get back the Vorinclex that way. Opponent gains control of some of our stuff. That's annoying. Somehow they get our commander. Not sure that that's supposed to happen, because I should go to the command zone, right? Sun Titan's going to get back the Luminarch Ascension. Ugh. A Marius Shepherd into play. That'll trigger the Anafenza. Let me get back Vorinclex. Yep, here comes Vorinclex. Opponent gets a Dragonlord Dromoka. Oh, the Marius Shepherd with the Karametra and the thing, he can just get back like half the deck. Yeah. And opponent's going to Primal Surge again. Awesome. Opponent does have Conquered at Crossroads in play now. And let's just take a look at the amount of damage. Oh, there's an Annihilator. 2 Eldrazi. 3, yeah, I think we're good to scoop it up here. There is no coming back from Vorinclex plus 3 Eldrazi, plus a Marius Shepherd, plus everything else that's going on. Opponent says he could have played Teferi's Protection, then Toxic Deluge on his turn. Yeah, that all would have been very helpful. But that did not happen. So we played a deck that was significantly stronger than us. It was a green-white combo deck, was essentially what they're playing with Primal Surge. We're playing something significantly weaker than that. And this is one of the problems that mono-white decks in general run into, especially creature-based mono-white decks, is that you basically just have to like tap out and play a bunch of creatures. They don't have haste, and you just have to like sit there and hope you untap with them, and we just didn't untap. We also didn't have like removal for that situation. If we had better instant speed removal, we may have been able to stop some of that if we either shot Vorinclex, or if we had something like a Lapse of Certainty on the Primal Surge, might be able to thwart some of those problems. But yeah, mono white in general does have some struggles, especially against combo decks like that. Combo is just not the thing you want to face when you're playing mono white. Now, if you're talking about the type of deck where someone can try to line up a bunch of permanents, then you can blow them all away with like Austere Command, Hour of Revelation, that sort of stuff. But when you're talking about these big explosive plays, typically a lot of things that green does really well. Green is really good at being explosive, just playing a Tooth and Nail, playing a Primal Surge, getting your Craterhoof Behemoth, lots of damage, all at once. You don't have a chance to respond at sorcery speed. White doesn't tend to deal with that so well. The other thing that we see here too is the difference between ramping and not ramping. Our Burnished Heart got blown up, so we never actually ramped in that game, but the Karametra was just ramping all game. You can just see the discrepancy in the amount of things that they were able to do versus the amount of things that we were able to do. And so let's say our Burnished Heart doesn't get blown up. Who knows? Maybe we draw an extra card. Maybe we draw our way into a Teferi's Protection. Maybe we draw our way into a Swords to Plowshares. Those are all things that would have given us some hope to get out of that situation. But because we didn't ramp, and they did, like, we really just didn't give ourselves a chance to win because we didn't ramp. But anyway, down we go. This is actually a pretty fun-looking deck. I don't know that it'll necessarily win tons and tons of games. There'd have to be a fairly low-power meta for that to work. Certainly not going to work when there's combos flying off there. I was a little bit sad that we didn't get to see more of our deck. Had the Sun Titan in our hand, wanted to get going with the Burnished Heart on that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.